Are you a passionate chicken keeper at a crossroads, trying to choose the best meat bird for your flock? Are you wondering whether you should prioritize the speed and profitability of the chickens you see on the market, or if it's better to invest in the quality, flavor, and authenticity of a more rustic breed? In this video, we're going to break down the 4 most important options on the market: the Sasso and Cornish breeds and the Ross and Cobb commercial lines. We'll help you understand their differences so you can make the best decision for your farm. If you find this information helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next guide. Now, to get started on the right foot, the first thing we must clarify is the key difference between a breed and a commercial genetic line. In the world of poultry, it's common to hear names like Ross, Cobb, Sasso, and Cornish, and it can be confusing to know if they are the same thing. Before we dive into the comparison, it's crucial to understand the fundamental difference between a breed and a commercial genetic line, as this distinction is key to the purpose of each bird we'll name in this video. A chicken breed is a group of birds with consistent physical and genetic characteristics that are passed down naturally from generation to generation. The Cornish breed and the Sasso breed are examples of this. Their distinctive traits of size, plumage, and behavior have been established over time. They are animals with a more stable and complete genetic heritage. On the other hand, a commercial genetic line is not a breed in itself. They are hybrids created and perfected by large poultry genetics companies for a single purpose: maximum production efficiency. The Ross and Cobb lines are the result of very specific and controlled crosses, designed to grow at an astonishing speed and convert feed into meat in an extremely efficient manner. To understand modern broiler chickens, we must first get to know their genetic parent, the Cornish breed. Originally from Cornwall, England, this robust breed was selected throughout the 19th century for its muscularity and broad breast, traits that made it the perfect foundation for meat production. Without the Cornish, today's poultry industry would not be what it is. The pure Cornish is a bird with an imposing appearance, with a wide and compact body, a very deep breast, and short but strong legs. Its plumage is dense and tight to the body, and it has an upright posture that denotes its muscularity. Although it is not the fastest bird to grow, its body conformation is the holy grail that all meat breeders seek. Despite its genetic importance, the pure Cornish breed is not the most popular option for large-scale meat farming. Its growth is slower than that of commercial hybrids, and its reproduction can be a challenge. Therefore, its main value lies in being the progenitor that contributes structure and muscularity in the crosses we will see next. The most outstanding characteristic of the Cornish breed is its unparalleled conformation. Its wide body, prominent breast, and short legs are the result of meticulous selection to maximize the amount of meat, especially in the most commercially valuable areas such as the breast and thighs. This muscularity is what defines its legacy in the industry. Although they are slower-growing birds compared to modern hybrids, their meat is of high quality and very dense. Their nature can be somewhat aggressive, a trait that was also considered for selection, as a robust and resilient bird was needed. Its role as a parent breed is, without a doubt, its greatest contribution. It is the fundamental piece of a genetic puzzle designed to create a bird with superior weight and meat yield, combining its structure with the growth speed of other breeds. The main purpose of the Cornish breed today is its role in the production of commercial broiler chickens. When crossed with other breeds such as the White Plymouth Rock, the Cornish transmits its genes for muscularity and structure, while the other breed provides growth speed and prolificacy. This genetic cross produces a bird that inherits the best of both worlds: the Cornish's meat-producing ability and the rapid growth of other lines. The result is the bird we know today as the Cornish cross. It is important to emphasize that, although the pure Cornish has an excellent meat yield, the time and resources needed to raise it make it impractical for mass production. Therefore, its primary use is not on the final fattening farm, but on the breeder farms that supply the industry. The Cornish cross is not a breed, but a hybrid. It is the category of modern broiler chickens, resulting from very specific and precisely designed crosses. These chickens are the industry standard and represent the culmination of decades of genetic selection focused on a single objective: yield. The main attraction of a Cornish cross is its unrivaled growth speed. They are designed to reach market weight in a surprisingly short time, which makes them extremely profitable. In addition, their feed conversion efficiency is another key factor. They need less food to gain weight compared to other birds. When we talk about Cornish cross, we are actually talking about the industrial broiler chicken model that is consumed almost everywhere in the world. It is the bird we see in supermarkets, and its success is due to the predictability and profitability it offers to large-scale producers. Within the Cornish cross category, there are two names that dominate the global market: Ross and Cobb. These are the two most popular and competitive genetic lines, and the duel between them is the engine that drives the continuous improvement of the poultry industry. Both have been designed to excel in meat production, but they have slight differences that distinguish them. Ross and Cobb are the result of sophisticated genetic engineering, carried out by giant companies in the industry. Their breeding programs are complex and patented, and the goal is to perfect every trait, from growth rate to resistance to certain diseases. The choice between one or the other often depends on the specific objectives of each breeder and the market they are targeting. While at first glance they may seem identical, Ross and Cobb chickens have subtle genetic differences that make them unique. Commercial breeders choose between them based on precise performance metrics, such as final weight, conformation, or the viability of the bird under their particular conditions. The Ross line is famous for its impressive growth rate and excellent feed conversion efficiency. These chickens are designed to gain weight quickly with the least amount of food possible, which makes them extremely profitable for large-scale production. Their consistent growth makes them a very reliable option for farms that seek predictable and fast results. In terms of their conformation, Ross chickens usually have a strong skeleton and a robust structure that allows them to support the rapid weight gain. This minimizes mobility and health problems in their first few weeks of life, which is vital for the viability of the flock. The emphasis of the Ross line is on speed and efficiency. They are the definition of a modern broiler chicken, designed to meet industrial production standards and satisfy the high demand for chicken meat in the global market. The Cobb line, on the other hand, is highly recognized for its superior meat yield. These chickens tend to have a wider conformation, with breast and thigh development that often surpasses that of their competitors. This makes them especially attractive for markets where the white meat of the breast is the most valued cut. In addition to their conformation, the Cobb line has a reputation for good viability and resilience. They are birds that adapt well to a variety of rearing environments and have a high survival rate, which makes them a popular choice among breeders who seek to minimize losses. The main difference between Cobb and Ross lies in its emphasis on meat yield. Although they also grow very fast, their strong point is the amount of meat they produce per bird, a key metric for profitability in the poultry industry. For a breeder who has to choose, the differences between Ross and Cobb are subtle but important. While Ross may have a slight advantage in feed conversion efficiency, Cobb often surpasses it in final breast yield. This means the choice depends on the type of market the chicken is sold to and the conditions of the farm. Other factors to consider include temperament and health. Both lines have been selected to be docile and sedentary, but some farms may notice differences in resistance to certain pathogens or in handling stress. The final choice is a business decision based on data and experience. In practice, both lines are so competitive that the final decision often comes down to the availability of chicks in the area, the technical support offered by the distributor, or the personal preference of the breeder, as both offer extraordinary results. The main use of the Ross and Cobb genetic lines is industrial poultry production on a global scale. These chickens are the foundation of farms that produce millions of birds per year to supply supermarkets, restaurants, and the food processing industry. Their predictable and uniform growth is essential for the efficiency of large-scale operations. Their dominance in the industry is due to the fact that they meet all the profitability metrics: fast growth, low feed consumption, high meat yield, and uniform genetics. This allows producers to plan their fattening cycles with pinpoint accuracy, minimizing costs, and maximizing profits. Outside the industrial realm, backyard breeders also use Ross and Cobb for their efficiency, although they often raise them for a longer time or on more varied diets to improve meat quality. However, their genetics are designed for the industrial farm, which can cause them health problems if they are raised in unconventional environments. The Sasso breed emerges as an alternative to industrial broiler production. Originally from France, its name is a brand that represents a different breeding philosophy: slower-growing chickens, with more physical activity and superior meat quality. Sasso chickens are robust and resilient birds, designed to thrive in pasture or free-range systems. Unlike the Cornish cross, Sasso chickens are not hybrids with a single life cycle. They are a more stable breed with a more complete genetic heritage. This gives them a natural resilience and adaptability that industrial chickens do not have. They are a popular choice among breeders who seek an ethical alternative and a higher quality product. The main purpose of Sasso is to meet the demand of premium markets, such as the famous La Belle Rouge in France, where the flavor and texture of the meat are as important as the breeding method. They are the antithesis of the industrial broiler, offering a more natural product and a more rustic breeding experience. Sasso chickens are known for their active nature and vitality, which distinguishes them markedly from commercial chickens. Instead of spending most of their time still, Sasso chickens are innate explorers who move, peck, and forage, which contributes to their overall health and the development of firm muscularity. Their resilience and ability to forage make them ideal for pasture-based systems. They are capable of finding a large part of their food in the field, supplementing their diet with insects and vegetables, which improves the nutritional profile of their meat. This more natural behavior is one of the reasons they are so appreciated. The rustic nature of the Sasso also translates into greater resistance to diseases and harsh weather, which makes them a very viable option for breeders who do not have a controlled breeding environment. They are birds that thrive in the open and offer a more traditional breeding experience. The Sasso breed does not have a single, standardized appearance like the commercial Ross and Cobb lines, which are usually white-feathered. Sasso chickens exhibit a wide variety of colors in their plumage, ranging from reddish and brown tones to black and gray, which gives them a much more rustic and diverse appearance. This variety is a hallmark of their nature as a breed, and not a hybrid. One of the most unique and popular characteristics of the Sasso is the existence of a line with the bare neck trait, in French, quenu. These chickens have a neck without feathers, which gives them a very distinctive look and has historically been valued for its resistance to heat. This diversity of colors and traits not only makes them visually attractive, but also indicates their adaptability and history as a breed developed for varied breeding conditions. The appearance of a Sasso is a sign of its robustness and purpose, which is not linked to industrial uniformity. The main reason breeders choose the Sasso breed is the superior quality of their meat. Their slow growth and active lifestyle allow the muscles to develop naturally, which translates into meat with a more intense flavor and a firmer texture than that of industrial broilers. Sasso meat has a darker color and a different fat layer than commercial chicken, which gives it a more robust and complex flavor similar to a traditionally raised chicken. This flavor profile is what attracts gourmet markets and consumers who seek a premium culinary experience. The quality of their meat is not just a matter of flavor but also of nutrition. By foraging and having a more varied diet, Sasso chicken often has a more complete nutritional profile, making it a preferred option for those looking for a healthier and more ethical product. Yield is the key metric for broiler breeders, and this is where the differences between the lines and breeds become most evident. The Ross and Cobb are designed to reach a market weight of 5 to 7 pounds in just 6 to 9 weeks, with astonishing feed conversion efficiency. On the other hand, the Sasso breed has a much slower growth rate. To reach a similar or slightly lighter weight, they may need between 12 and 16 weeks. This time difference is the main deciding factor for commercial breeders, as it directly affects profitability. However, the extra time the Sasso needs to grow is reflected in the quality of the meat. While Ross and Cobb are efficient and fast, the Sasso is slow and flavorful. The choice, then, is not about which is better, but about which one best suits each breeder's business model. Another fundamental difference between these varieties is their reproductive capacity. Ross and Cobb chickens are sterile hybrids. They have been bred so that their life cycle is exclusively that of meat production. Therefore, they do not reach sexual maturity and do not lay viable eggs, which makes them completely dependent on genetics companies. In contrast, breeds like the Sasso and Cornish do have a complete life cycle. They lay eggs and reach sexual maturity, which allows breeders to maintain a breeding flock and raise their own chicks. This is a key point for backyard or small-scale breeders who seek self-sufficiency. This distinction is vital for understanding genetics. The Ross and Cobb are a final product, while the Sasso and Cornish are the beginning of a complete life cycle. The type of bird you choose will not only define the meat you produce, but also the long-term viability of your flock. The instinct to go broody or to incubate is an ancestral trait in chickens that leads them to sit on eggs to hatch them. In traditional breeds like the Sasso and Cornish, this instinct is still very present. This allows for natural reproduction on the farm, which is a great benefit for breeders who want to raise their own chicks without an incubator. However, in the commercial genetic lines Ross and Cobb, this instinct has been almost completely eliminated through selection. For industrial production, having broody hens is inefficient, as they stop laying eggs during that period. Therefore, genetic control has prioritized productivity over natural behavior. This difference highlights the philosophy behind each type of bird. While the breeds maintain their natural instincts, the commercial lines are highly specialized products, where every non-productive trait has been eliminated in favor of efficiency, making them dependent on human intervention. To help you make a decision, let's do a dynamic summary of the characteristics of each type. Imagine a visual comparison where we see a Ross or Cobb chicken next to a Sasso. The commercial chicken is large, white, and not very active, while the Sasso is smaller, with colorful plumage and moves with vitality. You would see that the Ross and Cobb reach ideal weight in a few weeks, while the Sasso requires 2 or 3 times as long. You would also notice that the conformation of the Ross and Cobb is a very developed breast, while that of the Sasso is more balanced and athletic, which is reflected in the quality of its meat. This dynamic summary allows you to visualize the key differences without the need for a table, making the information easier to retain. It's about understanding that each of these chickens was created for a different purpose, and your choice should reflect your own. Now, the million-dollar question: which of these options is the best for you? The answer depends entirely on your goals as a breeder. If your priority is speed and profitability, and you are looking to produce the largest amount of meat in the shortest possible time for a mass market, then the Ross or Cobb lines are, without a doubt, your best option. They are the industry standard for a reason. If your goal is quality, flavor, and rustic breeding, and you don't mind waiting a little longer to get a premium product for niche markets or personal consumption, then the Sasso breed is the ideal choice. If you are interested in genetics and breeding chickens, and you want to have the ability to produce your own eggs and chicks, then a pure breed like the Cornish or the Sasso is what you need. To conclude, the breeder must make an informed decision based on more than just the growth rate. The choice between Ross, Cobb, Sasso, and Cornish is a choice between 2 distinct breeding philosophies, one focused on industrial efficiency and the other on rustic quality. If your management system involves limited space and a controlled diet, the Ross or Cobb can be viable. But if you have pasture and want your chickens to move around, the Sasso is the one that will best adapt and give you the best results in meat quality. Ultimately, the best option is the one that not only provides you with the product you want, but also aligns with your values as a breeder and the market you want to reach. Think about your final goal. Do you want a fast chicken for the supermarket or a premium chicken for the family table? Leave a comment below and tell us which of these chickens you would choose and why. If this video was helpful to you, please give us a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss our next guides on poultry. Also, if you share this content on your social networks, you would be helping this beautiful ornamental bird community grow more and more. For your success, fellow breeder, until next time.